Definitely seeing a move from data driven to insight driven. So there's this recognition that data, it's not big data anymore, let's face it. It's huge, massive, enormous data. There's so much of it. And we're only little humans with our little brains, with our cognitive load limits. So we need some help addressing this data. And data, of course, is only useful when we've had an actionable insight and we've actioned it and we've had a positive or negative, a learning outcome from it. So that's really where the value stream management from a platform perspective is going. It's really trying to leverage that data, leverage everything we've learned from the mapping practices and make use of that data to help automate insights into the kind of things we want to know. Where are the delays? Where is the waste? Where are the risks? All of those sort of questions that we're trying to resolve.
When this client that we're going to next week, they were mapping a specific kind of development project. And it's, they have a high variety, as most tech teams have, very high variety from a lead time perspective, from simple to complex to very complex. And so they got data on a couple of recent projects, and it had big gaps where you're in a black hole. You just don't know what happened. But there are some pretty clear timestamps for certain parts of the value stream. And so that's going to be wickedly helpful to start with at least those. And those timestamps are system generated. They're not manually entered. And so, if you have a workflow system that has that, at least start by pulling some of that data so you can look at, are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking minutes? Directionally, how long is it taking for work to flow from one area to the next? And one more quick thing about development value streams. So someone asked if development value streams can be mapped as well as operational. Heck yeah. It's really juicy to do development value streams. But one of the things that I think often gets missed is that people look at the first process and the last process and they map, and they forget about the piece up front of people understanding what to even submit in the first place and what type of project should go down this particular value stream versus not. So you have to clean up and get clarity around the submission process before the value stream can ever have a chance of performing well. And so yes, you need fence posts, but that entrance into that value stream is really critical to take a look at.
That reminds me of something that I've found is a struggle for folks in knowledge work, where the work can vary so much from one task to the next or one initiative to the next. And I think that's such an underappreciated point of improvement is this upstream, right? Your inflow, like your ingress point or your supply, being sort of standardized to some degree that drives a degree of standardization across the value stream, because it's sort of like if you start with chaos, odds are, you're going to have a ton of variability that's very difficult to measure. So is there anything that you've learned in your time of sort of spending more time in knowledge work and modern software development contexts that could be helpful in that context of all our work is variable and it's so unpredictable, and how can we map under those circumstances?
So most of the time, and this is with development value streams in particular, and it could be, I'm talking software development, but it could actually be product development I'm talking about as well, like for physical products. They're very similar in terms of the thinking that goes through a value stream. It's really important to pick one example that is somewhat representative of the norm. And so when I talk about the norm, I mean, not the easiest thing you've ever done, not the most complex and, problem riddled one you've ever done, but somewhere that's representative of the bulk of the kinds of work that flow through a value stream, and get people to remember back, and so I call it kind of reverse engineering. Remember back to what happened during that particular project. And why did it happen? And so the current state isn't only that project, but it makes it more tangible for people to be able to go back and think about, oh yeah, we did do that. And that was a delay and things like that. And again, the timestamps help. That's one thing. The other thing is that on the transformation plan, the improvement plan, there's almost always one line item, almost always, that says, define what's a ticket and what goes through the PMO or the EPMO. Define, clearly define for the business owners in the organization, when do I even approach, if you have a PMO, like when do I even approach them? And under what conditions do I approach them? And getting that clarity up front helps relieve the burden of having, a backlog with 400 projects on it. In fact, the backlog, I could talk about the backlog forever. I have very strong feelings about managing backlogs and getting them winnowed down to very few numbers. So, but that's for another day, maybe.
I think, yeah, we probably all have very strong feelings about that. I've emptied out backlogs multiple times in my career.